The story begins in Shahrivar 1401, March 2022. Reza and his friend Majid went to visit the banks of a river near the village of Chaleh, about 10 kilometers from Reza's home in a rural area near Gorgan. They sat beneath some plane trees on the northern side of the riverbank. About 20 to 25 minutes before sunset prayer, Reza suddenly felt a sharp jolt in his body. He started sweating heavily and felt dizzy and unwell. They quickly left the area and returned home before Maghrib. That night, Reza had agreed to drive Mr. Khosravi and his family to Tehran. Around 10 p.m., just after stopping for fuel, Reza received a frantic call from his wife. Their younger daughter, Masa, was crying uncontrollably with her eyes shut and wouldn't respond to anyone. Reza immediately contacted a Haji Aga, a local religious cleric, reputed to be spiritually gifted, possibly with a Jinn companion. The cleric visited their home and then called Reza to ask whether he had visited the riverbank near Chaleh and sat under the chenar trees. When Reza confirmed, the Haji Aga said that a mischievous Jinn had followed him from there and was now disturbing his daughter. Reza pleaded with the cleric to remove the Jinn. At first, the Jinn refused, saying it liked being in the house. But after a long back and forth between the cleric's Jinn and the intruding one, the latter was eventually forced out. As it left, it gave a chilling warning. It would return and cause great harm. The next morning, Reza returned home from Tehran and found Masa back to normal. However, things soon took a dark turn. One Saturday night, Reza returned home late, around 2 a.m., from visiting friends. He found the front gate locked from the inside. After getting no answer from his family, he entered from the side entrance. Upon stepping inside, he felt a sudden, heavy suffocation and told his wife he couldn't breathe. Moments later, he collapsed onto the bed and lost consciousness. Panicking, his family rushed him to the emergency unit of the Gorgan Central Hospital. Tests showed no physical problems. The doctor said it might be due to exhaustion and prescribed rest and sleep medication. In the days that followed, Reza changed. He became withdrawn, often staring blankly at the ceiling or into space. He couldn't sleep, even with medication. His condition worsened. After about 9 days, he began hearing whispers, voices telling him he was going to die. He wept alone and insisted to his family that his end was near. His neighbors whispered that he had lost his mind. On the 13th day, he was taken to a psychiatrist in Sari. But despite all tests showing normal results, the doctor offered a general diagnosis and prescribed medication, which didn't help. His mental state continued to deteriorate. He began to hit himself and slam his fists into the wall. The voices now warned him when guests were about to arrive, saying they had come to kill him. Reza would cry and scream in fear. After a month, he began accusing his wife of planning to kill him. He refused to sleep in their room and instead stayed with his parents. His condition became so poor that he needed help walking and using the bathroom. Over 2 months, he saw Dr. Hamid multiple times without improvement. He continued to hear voices. One day he said that his aunts were coming to kill him. When they actually visited, he screamed that they were imposters and hid in fear. Opinions around him varied. Some believed he was mentally ill. Others thought he was faking or had taken drugs. Even doctors in Mashhad found nothing abnormal. After nearly 2.5 months of suffering, Reza's wife's maternal uncle visited. He recommended seeing a tabib, a traditional spiritual healer. The family took Reza to one in a small town in Mazandaran. The tabib said Reza's case was severe and that he would have likely died soon from an accident. He confirmed that a dangerous jinn had possessed Reza and had been trying to kill him. The healer performed an exorcism, gave him an amulet, 4 nails to place in the corners of the home, and some blessed earth to scatter. They followed the healer's instructions. Reza slowly began to improve. After 3 months, he was almost back to normal, able to walk, eat, and go outside again. His wife's uncle advised them to move to a different house temporarily, just to ensure the entity hadn't remained in their home. They rented a nearby house, and Reza remained stable there. During this calmer period, his wife became pregnant. Later, an ultrasound revealed it would be a boy. Reza began preparing to go to Saudi Arabia for work. But in day 1402, January 2024, his wife developed serious complications during the pregnancy. They visited several local clinics before being referred to Vali Yasser Hospital in Karaj. There, she underwent an emergency C-section, and a baby boy was born in critical condition. Tragically, on 22 day 1402, January 12, 2024, their son passed away. When Reza collected the body, he noticed bruises and black marks, as if the child had been attacked. He buried his son quietly, not immediately telling his wife. After her release from the hospital, his wife eventually learned the truth through a relative and was devastated. Reza later took photographs of the infant's injuries to the tabib, who confirmed their worst fear. The same jinn that had once possessed Reza had killed the baby, enacting revenge after it was exorcised. They moved back to their original home. Reza flew to Saudi Arabia on January 24th, 2024, and arrived the next day. He is currently doing better, but remains haunted by the belief that the malicious jinn inflicted irreversible pain on his life.